Well, did you know that your digital fingerprints are all over everything that you do online? It is one way that investigators can catch predators who download child pornography. It apparently is a growing problem in Louisiana. Our Graham Olkins is here with a look at what is being done about it. Graham.
Hey, Greg. Yeah, just ask any parent raising children in the digital age. It means a whole new list of dangers. And the problem of child sex crimes is not just getting worse in Louisiana. The FBI says the expansion of the internet has led to an explosion in the market for child porn all around the world. What's inside this evidence room may not look scary, but hidden in plain sight is the worst of the worst. Stacks of computers, hard drives, and cell phones full of child pornography. They represent over a decade of cases across Louisiana.
One case can contain maybe 2,000 images of children being physically abused.
Corey Bourgeois heads up the elite unit that investigates these crimes. It's noble work that's not for the faint of heart.
And you're looking at that for 8.5 to 10 hours a day. That is your job.
Housed inside the Attorney General's office, the Special Cybercrime Unit is part of a nationwide task force program. It's called ICAC, or Internet Crimes Against Children. Since Jeff Landry took office in January 2016, nearly 300 people have been arrested across the state.
We're bringing those people to justice, so hopefully they don't have an opportunity to prey on children anymore.
It's a job that's gotten much harder in recent years. Over 3/4 of the population now uses a smartphone, including many children.
Handing them a phone is probably more dangerous than handing them a gun.
Phones have not only made child porn easier to produce, they've also given predators direct access to kids.
When we were brought up, we were told about the predator being in the park with the dog and a bag of candy. In reality, most predators are family members, friends of a family, neighbors. It could be anyone.
Supervisory Special Agent Brian Brown has arrested hundreds of suspects in his 9 years on the job. Lately, though, he says the trends are more troubling. Victims getting younger, their abuse more shocking.
We're seeing more and more infants and toddlers being sexually abused. And so that's kind of becoming the norm when we go into these houses, where we're seeing babies that are in bondage or bestiality and different things like that.
For most of us, that reality is hard to even process. For investigators, it's motivation to work harder. How do they stop it? By staying one step ahead of the technology that's fueling the problem.
I think a lot of people they still think it's magic. They have this technology in their hands and they send a text message. They don't care how it goes from point A to point B. But the fact is, it does go through certain servers. And there are tools in place to help law enforcement track illicit material.
If that sounds vague, it should. Once investigators get tips from local law enforcement, they rely heavily on computer programs they don't want us to know about. The programs help them monitor suspects and collect evidence. But even that technology has its limits. Locked iPhones are often inaccessible, and files can be hidden anywhere.
A lot of times you'll find SD cards and tiny little USB drives, and some suspects hide them. Sock drawers, maybe they'll hide them in a wall.
As they investigate, Landry's office also educates. These new brochures warn of the dangers that come with a smartphone, including online predators. Never give out personal info. Assume that people may be lying. Don't send pictures. The tips are designed for teenagers, but ultimately the responsibility lies with parents.
Parents aren't educating their children about the dangers that are so close to their homes.
Understand what you're giving your child. Understand that there are restrictions that you can place on that particular device. Talk to your children and certainly encourage them to report suspicious activity.
It's a conversation that every family needs to have. Here is another very scary fact. The cybercrime unit in Louisiana is grossly underfunded compared to all of the work that they could be doing. They rely on federal grants, which Landry said are shrinking. His plan is to ask the legislature for extra cash, but Liz, we know there is not very much of that to go around.
Graham, thank you for that. A very serious